Hey, I'm Josh. I'm sure most of you have experienced a parent telling you to put down your video game, to go outside, go hang with friends. And as a gamer myself, I have heard this many times, actually. And it's also led me to wonder to the reasons behind this, and to the argument of, do video games have a negative effect on you, or do they have a positive effect on you? And that's what I'm going to be talking about. So what are the negative effects of playing video games? The Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin mentions anger as a negative effect of playing violent video games. They cause increased heart rate, blood pressure, as well as aggressive feelings and behaviors towards other people. These same gamers who experience sex-side characters, terrorists, and other social groups as enemies or targets in these video games are more likely to target women, people of Arabic descent, and other minorities and social groups as an outlet for their aggression. The Encyclopedia of Human Development mentioned health as another negative effect. Obesity, video-induced seizures, as well as carpal tunnel syndrome are just a few of these effects. Tendinitis, which is actually a form of tendinitis that develops in your hand and thumb from pushing buttons too many times, is actually named for Nintendo, one of the video game companies. So I thought that was interesting. Time is also something that's completely wasted by playing video games. Well, not completely, but in the early 90s, children played video games for, on average, 4 hours a week. And today, that's increased to 13 hours a week. And through the increase, children haven't decreased the amount of TV they watch. So you could see how that would negatively affect a student's performance in class, as well as social life that they would have. So now that you've heard some of the negatives, what are the positives of playing video games? Ian Spence of the Department of Psychology in the University of Toronto mentions spatial cognition as something that improves by playing video games. Coordination and speed are two of these, mental speed. Reaction time is everything in video games, where reacting quickly to something in the game could save a life there. And this correlates to making quick decisions in the real world, where the faster you react in game, the better you get at making quick decisions in real life. The American Psychological Association mentions different types of games that positively affect the player. So RPGs affect problem-solving skills in real life. Games like Angry Birds and other games like that improve mood. They relax and prevent anxiety in the player. Games like MMOs give the gamer a sense of community. So you would normally think that gamers are pretty isolated people, but MMOs give them a sense of teamwork and communication skills that they have to use in order to achieve their goals, where they wouldn't necessarily complete the task unless they work as a team. Education is also something that benefits from video games. Children who are given an educational video game are more likely to positively respond from learning from that, where they wouldn't learn as much from a lack of that video game. Hospitals actually use video games as a form of mental therapy, where they give a patient a game where a virus is the target, or shooting the virus or killing the virus, mentally kind of heals the patients, helping them get over infections and diseases that way. An article in Time mentions a study for Oxford University where war veterans were given Tetris to play as a means of helping control their post-traumatic stress disorder. Times they played ranged from 10 minutes to hours, and the longer they played, the less they experienced their traumatic visions from war, and to the point where they almost didn't experience them at all. So now that you've heard both sides, you can tell your parents, hey, you were right or you were wrong for telling me to put down my video game back in the day. But when you play video games, you have to take in both sides. You can't just take in the positives or the negatives. You have to take both in when you play.